want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right. So now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right, so that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then, what is this? Says squeeze a quarter-size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack, but then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day. Right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you go in between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally, because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order, and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. And I am your illustrious host, Anton Daniels. What up, friends and family? We are in the building. You know what? Thinking about just go ahead and doing a standing desk, because I got like the automatic. This is a standing desk where it just automatically raises up and lowers down. I don't know. What up, friends? What's up, friends and family? It's Monday, April 29th, 2024, year of our Lord. We got Stock Club coming up this Wednesday officially. Let me get a round of applause for everybody that is here in this morning. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I decided I've decided personally that I think I am going to keep it just like this. I actually really like this look. It's a lot more comfortable for me to actually do the show like this. And so I'm in a good space. I got good energy and life is good. And so I'm thinking about, what do y'all think like this? Do y'all think that I should just keep it rocking out like this with this whole look in the background or whatever, and I do the Millionaire Morning Show like this? Or do you think that I should go back over into the other space? So over on the other side of this little black little cover over here is where I do the Millionaire Morning Show. So y'all let me know in the chat. What do y'all think? Do y'all want this? Do y'all prefer this? Then this whole look and this whole setup a little bit more. I actually prefer it. You got to switch it up. You got to do some things differently. Or do you guys prefer for me to do it over there with the little graffiti in the background and all of that stuff? What do you guys think? Y'all let me know what y'all think about the Millionaire Morning Show. Arturo says you like this one better. Carlos, this one. Space is this one. Messi like the other one. K like this one. Mrs. K. What do y'all think? Let me see. Looks great. Keep this. This is cool. Where's the art? You like the artwork? No, the don't do coke in the bathroom sign is not backwards. Actually, what happens is I'm just mirroring the camera. So if I switch the camera over and I got the don't do coke in the bathroom like this, y'all prefer me to do it like this? Okay, so let's do it. We got the don't do coke in the bathroom sign. Y'all see where the black couch is. So whenever it is that I'm talking about the black couch, and that's what I'm talking about. This is where we do a lot of the interviews, where we do a lot of the setups. You can see some of the other chairs over here. There's some stools over there. It's a couch over there. It's a bunch of cameras all over the place. So this is where we do a lot of the interviews. And then I got an office over there. I got a bedroom over there. And I got a whole nother setup over there where I do the Millionaire Morning Show. So yeah, man, shout out to Mism. Shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to everybody. So let's keep it like this for a while. It's a nice little switch up. I see Rita in the chat. Let me say something really quickly before we get started with the show. Before I do the housekeeping, before we get started with the show, let me say this really quickly. This is just hot chocolate, ladies and gentlemen. Hot chocolate, almond milk, nothing major. I was talking about retirement this morning. And it's people that hit me up, and mainly Rita. Rita's the one that hit me up in the morning. And so we kind of have our little stand-up meeting, right? And our stand-up meeting is we go through and we start talking about the different things that we got to take care of from a real estate perspective. We talk about the things that we got to take care of as far as other companies that we consider opening, different things that we funding, who needs help. We go through our schedule or my schedule, coaching calls, and everything like that, right? And there's a lot of new things and a lot of new opportunities that may or may not be on the way. Some stuff I'm worked on, some stuff I recorded that I haven't told you guys about because I can't say anything about it based off of the paperwork that I signed, right? But long story short, Rita hits me up and she's like, okay, you do this, do this, do this. And then we get to the very last part, which is the part that I dread. I like all of the rest of the standing meetings, right? We talk about, hey, what's the current status on this permit and this and all of that is good. And then we get to the very last part and then I start dreading it. And this is why I dread it. Over the weekend, I had an opportunity to chill. And anybody that's been paying attention to my channels, you know that I don't really do any vlogging anymore. So I don't take the camera out. I don't walk down the street. I don't talk anymore. I've largely left that part out of my life. I've stopped documenting my life a while ago. Now I stopped vlogging and giving my thoughts in the streets. And now I pretty much have resigned myself to giving y'all my thoughts after hours, including my friends. And I've been so focused on promoting them, promoting Q, promoting Mika, 2K, Quentin, getting them geared up and putting people in better positions, right? And one of the reasons that I've done that is because I've started to take a back seat a little bit more because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing content creation in YouTube for over 10 years. A lot of people will discover me and they be like, oh my God, you new to the space and you new to the. No, I'm one of the OGs. A lot of people don't understand that I'm one of the OGs of this. And very few content creators can say that they've been this consistent for this long and documenting their life and living their life basically online and as an open book, right? And now it's starting to become even more pronounced because I love visibility and I love the content creation, but it's starting to spill over really a whole lot into my regular life into where, you know, when I go downstairs, and I love it. And shout out to everybody that I met this weekend. Shout out to everybody that was down in Detroit. Shout out to everybody that I ran into. You know, I have to change my name on the DoorDash app. And I have to go downstairs. And when I go and get my DoorDash, a lot of times I wind up getting stuck down there for like a half hour because I run into people and then you wind up kicking it. But I just honestly, and then when I run into people, I say, well, no, I'm just a regular person and I'm not on that Hollywood type stuff. And I just like to kick it with people. And so I just genuinely, no, I'm not burned out, Eric Daniels. Let's be clear. I'm not burned out at all. But I also like to disconnect. When I'm on here, I love it. When I'm not on here, I love it. For the first time, I got an opportunity to watch an episode of Fallout. I didn't even know what that was. My nephew came to visit me down here and he was like, oh man, I got this new series. I was like, oh, okay, let's watch it. He's like, really? You gonna watch TV? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch TV. And they were so surprised that I was going to watch TV that it was almost like, oh my God, or whatever. Then I talked to Rita this morning and she like, hey, listen, you got to do this and you got to get geared up for that. And you got this thing coming from a content creation perspective. And I was telling her, I said, listen, I'm not really sure that I want to do that. Like, I'm not really sure that I want to be at the forefront of it. I don't mind participating in it, but I'm not sure that I want to be the one that's producing it or pushing it or any of that stuff. I just like showing up and talking. One of the reasons that I like Monday night so much is because Q, the one that do all of the recruiting, she do all of the work. I just show up and talk. I show up. She the one that control everybody on the panel. She does everything. And so that's why I value people so much, because my true currency is not in the money that I make. It's not the opportunities that y'all think that I get. It's the people. The people are the ones that take care of me. And so I make sure that I take care of them back. I add value into their life. I make sure that I take care of them financially. I treat them really well and I give them the freedom to do what they do all the time. And so I'm trying to find the balance in my life, but it's very difficult because I've conditioned myself over the last 20 plus years to be a worker. I've been hustling, I've been grinding, and I don't know how to turn it off. I don't know when to turn it off. And so I'm just slowly but surely navigating over into it. But Rita is like, yo, Anton, but this is right, like who you are. And so I'm I don't know how you describe it. It's not a midlife crisis because I don't plan on going anywhere, but I'm kind of pulling back. You know what I'm saying? I'm pulling back in corporate America. I've been pulling back when it comes to how I live my life. I've been spending more time with my daughter because I know that at 16 years old, she going into the 11th grade, she's got a lot more freedom and she doesn't spend as much time around me because she has her own friends and she got her own life. She got Taekwondo and, she likes to do things. And so I try to live every moment like it's my last and take it in, while at the same time considering the possibility of what the future could hold. And I think that that's one of the things that's really difficult for us as people, is that we get so used to doing the things that we do on a regular basis that we don't really consider what the future is like. When you think about your life, right? Do you think about what it's going to be like 10 years from now? Because everything I do, I plan it out from a 10-year view, but you don't realize that it's really coming up faster than you think that it is. We live for the moment. We party for the moment. We do what we want to do for the moment. We mortgage our futures in order to make us feel good currently, but it don't always translate into being conducive for you. And the reason that I'm having this conversation with you guys is not that it's about me. And no, like I said, I don't burn out. I feel great. Look at Rita. Want to make things difficult. It's not about me. I feel great. But what I'm using this as an example of is, do you guys actually take into consideration what your future is supposed to look like? We talk about getting rich and we talk about success and doubling our income, but to what end is what I'm asking you. Are you guys actually doing this for a reason, or are you doing it just because it's the thing to do, or you've been influenced by what's happening on social media? When we ask ourselves those questions like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? What is your life going to look like? All of that stuff. Do y'all consider what that looks like, honestly? Because a lot of times it's pie in the sky, but it has to be real for you. A lot of people that are retiring today, and I know that this is not the bag chasers issue, because we doing the things that's going to be conducive for the rest of our lives. A lot of people are going into their older age not having the same capabilities of doing the things that they used to. You can't work as many hours as you was when you was 20 and 30, and you wasted your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and even sometimes your early 50s. And you retired depending on Social Security with a whole bunch of debt. And then you put that burden on somebody that's coming after you to ultimately have to take care of you just for you to be able to survive. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for you. Some of y'all are so dependent on your regular jobs, and we're going to talk about layoffs. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Some of y'all are so dependent on your current circumstance that if anything was to happen, you'd be crashed out tomorrow. I don't want that for you. Some of y'all are so stuck on this mentality that, oh my God, it's just okay to be regular. Don't you know that the average and what regular looks like today is actually under duress and stressed and broken and broke and destitute and dying by yourself? I don't want that for you. When we have these conversations, whether it be on the Millionaire Morning Show or whether it be on the Anton Daniels or we joking on After Hours, I always say that I put the medicine in the candy. And when y'all join the Patreon and we start having these conversations, what I want you to start thinking about is, how does this translate into my life and what does this look like? I was tossing and turning last night after having a conversation with Rita. And I didn't really get good sleep last night because the only thing that I could think about is what the future would look like. And I'm not sure that I'm ready, not ready financially, but ready emotionally and mentally for what that could look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never considered myself slowing down, or I've never considered real delegation from a content creation perspective. I've never really, when I retired when I was 37 years old back in 2019, I never really retired because I just translated that same energy into other things. And then I wound up going back into corporate America, and then it just wound up being a whole nother thing, right? And so you never really slowed down. In the couple months that I did slow down, I was bored out of my mind. And I'm like, man, I'm not really sure what this looked like. And so I made up in my mind, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I'm always going to be productive, and I'm always going to be visible, and I'm always going to be here with you guys. But I want you guys to start thinking about what you want your future to look like. Do you have enough money put up for you to be able to be successful for the rest of your life? Can you maintain a lifestyle, or do you have to pare back? Not that you want to pare back, but will you be forced to because you don't have any other choice? Even when it comes to people that's making a whole lot of money, as far as these NFL players and these NBA players, when retirement hit them, they get divorced, they fumble, they wind up realizing that they can't maintain the same lifestyle, they go broke, they trying to figure it out as they go. I don't want that to be you. I want us always to be living our life to the fullest now, but at the same time being proactive enough to be thinking about what the future is. I don't know what my life looks like once my daughter is married and out the house. I don't know I plan for it. I plan for her to ultimately take over the companies that we built. And, I want to get to a certain number of properties that she then takes over. And, I estate plan as far as what that translates in, like if anything was to ever happen to me, or, I groom her and I put her in a position. And when I talk to Rita, a lot of times I say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we do. And I Miyagi her, and then I have a conversation with her, and I say, hey, tell me this, and tell me that, tell me that. And so she's telling me all of these things, and then I tell her, don't you realize that I just taught you how to build a house? Don't you realize I just taught you how to be a real estate mogul? Don't you realize this? Don't you realize that? What would you do if anything was to happen to me? And I do this every year, and I test her, and it'd be at random times. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I realize that I don't need that, and we will move this over, and this and that. Okay, good. You ready. You prepared. I'm always preparing the people around me for greatness in the moment, but the possibilities in the future, good and bad. And we have to start being proactive. We cannot keep living our life like an accident. We cannot keep acting like we don't know what's going to come and what's the inevitable. All of us gets old. All of us get tired. All of us eventually transition. All of us move differently. I'm tired of listening to y'all doing y'all fish fries. I'm tired of hearing GoFundMes. I'm tired of people telling me that, oh my God, I was a part of the ministry. You wouldn't believe how many people say that they was a part of the church and they thought that God was just going to send the millions, and then they get ready to retire and they ain't got nothing. And the church ain't take care of them because they ain't got no pension. I want y'all to start being more proactive and thinking about what the possibilities are. And it's very uncomfortable. It's a very uncomfortable thought to think about. But it doesn't have to be. It could be even more blissful because every year gets better for me based off of the idea that I'm planning for my greatness. I want you to plan for your greatness, not for your retirement. Let me say that again for the people in the back before we get started with the show. I want you to plan for your greatness. I don't like that. I want you to plan for your greatness and not necessarily for your retirement. I want you to plan to live life beautifully. My goal in 8 years is to be generating over $100,000 every single month to maintain the current lifestyle that I already have. No debt, no none of that. And if I decide that I wanted to keep going after that, then I have the option to do that. But I'm not going to be forced to live a substandard lifestyle based off of what it is that I set for myself. And we got to have a different mindset. We got to you want to leave something for your children. You want for your kids to go to college and not have to have student loan debt. You would want to, I'm very traditional in that when my daughter gets married, I plan on giving her her house. There's no way in the world that my daughter, what as hard as her father works and as intentional as I am, is no reason why I can't go back to the same standards that we used to have way back in the day and yesteryear, to where the father paid for the wedding and he makes sure that y'all have a home and you get started and you really start taking off. And that way, the majority of what you building together has nothing to do with all of the arguments that you would get into as a broke couple. They should not be, our children and the people that come after us should not be going through the same stuff that we going through. There's no reason why, if anything was to ever happen to me, or if anything was to ever happen to you, that your chick is still paying a mortgage. There's no reason that y'all should not have life insurance. There's no reason why you should not be putting into your 401k. There's no reason why, with all of the knowledge, the information that we have every day, and y'all tapping into the Millionaire Morning Show on a regular basis, that you still having your girl, or you still having your child, or you still having your son, or you still having your daughter taking out student loans. You should literally be grooming them for their future. They don't have a choice, as far as I'm concerned. Children don't have a choice. It's a if-then statement. If you want to continue to go down this path and live this phenomenal life, then this is the path that you're going to take as a result of it. It is very much planned out for you. If any time you decide to deviate off that path, then you lose my grace and you're going to have to stand on your own. And this is how you build greatness. This is how we solve for the issues in our community. We have to set standards. It's not about what you want. It's about what it is that you have to do, because it's not about you. It's not about you. And so I need y'all to make a sacrifice for your future and for the people that come after you. Have some uncomfortable conversations with yourself, not just with the people that's next to you. And let's do things in order, proper, and run up the bag. And I know this is not the sexy conversation to have, because we're not talking about Bentleys and Rolls Royces and all of that stuff. But what I'm telling you is that this is the real fruit of life. This is what being blessed looks like. It's being able to love on other people, because the way that you show that you love God is by making sure that you take care of the people that he put you on earth around. That's true love. All right. So just to get y'all started on y'all mornings, on Monday morning, because I want to make sure that I reach y'all before y'all get into the world and y'all start enduring all of this other nonsense that you got to deal with on a regular basis, and the ratchetness and the issues and the problems. We going to get y'all through y'all week. We going to get y'all through y'all day. This is the Millionaire Morning Show. Let me read some of the super chats so we can go ahead and get started with the show today. Shout out to y'all. Tyler Reed says the law firm that represents Tiffany Henyard and administration in Dalton has quit because they haven't been paid. We going to get there. That's a part of quick hits. I got you. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. Miss Crotty Shetty in the building says, yo, I'm going to hit you up and support the platform. Thank you, Miss Crotty Shetty. It is absolutely awesome, and I do not take it for granted, all of the contributions and the love that you've shown me over the years. Jay Johnson says, good morning, bag chasers. Amazing day to be a bag chaser. Respect, AD. Next stop plug, can we go over what to do about student loan credit payoff? We can talk about that, absolutely. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got Stock Club this Wednesday. Stock Club is Wednesday, y'all. Wednesday morning before the Millionaire Morning Show. P. Shank, what up, P. Shank says, good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels on the Millionaire Morning Show. You so consistent. I love you. Helena says, how do you create balance, Anton? Appreciate your channel and knowledge, brother. I don't. Everywhere I go and everything that I do, I just work. You know, I'm starting to, right? I bought an extra laptop. I redid my other laptop, so I'm going to have one. I don't bring my laptops even into work anymore. I don't put laptops inside of my book bag no more. I just got my iPad Pro. I got my iPad Pro with my pencil, and I'm chilling. When I'm here, I work. When I'm gone, I'm work. But I haven't had balance, and my entire life has been based off of whatever my purpose is, and then everything else has been around that. So I'm trying to figure that out now. As I figure it out, I'm going to tell you about it, Helena. Thank you for always supporting me, and thank you for showing me love, my love. Thank you. Wealth building journey is in builder says you built a powerful network up, and now you get to reap the benefits and rewards. In case you want to do something else, this is a part of your legacy. But you know me, I be getting that itch. I'm thinking about buying a whole nother network. We'll talk about that later for those of y'all that was on After Hours. Delta Fox is in the building says, looking to buy some land in Las Vegas. I've emailed your team this morning for a call in June with the sports events, stadiums, and new high-rise buildings that's being built there. I want to get in while I can and still can afford it. Let me know. Absolutely. I got it. Shout out to Delta Fox. Jamal Park says, can you speak more on how to build off of and train your wife to gain the other skill sets? It seems like you're able to use your resources to teach her development, but how can we do the same with limited resources at a young age? Yeah, we can talk about that. Maybe I'll save that for the end of the show, or we'll talk about it tonight. Yeah, I can talk. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make that a Patreon exclusive video, and I might drop it tomorrow. Patreon. I'm typing it right now. And then I'll do a follow-up one on how to inspire your husband, because that's a really big issue that we need to solve for also. Shout out to Jamal Parks. I'm going to release that as a Patreon exclusive video. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. That's a really good one. That's a really good subject. Next Level MF, my dog, says, yo, Tyne, I was just talking to you about this a couple weeks ago. Big shout out to you for falling back and still leveling up. Bag chasers, we up. Shout out to my dog, Next Level, my dog. Ban Flacco says, I appreciate but don't like when people call me a good dad. I don't like being praised for what I'm supposed to be. Take your praise, big dog. As a person like me that has always rejected, and I had a hard time taking praise and people loving me and supporting me, take your praise, big dog. You deserve it. Take that. You a good dad. Pixel God Squad says, study, grow, and build what you create. The future favors you. Shout out to my guy. I appreciate you, to the Pixel God. SBD 51 is in the building, says, just got that third remote job totaling $220,000. Thank you for the life hack and the motivation to be better in life. You showed me there's greater out there. We gonna unlock y'all mind. Shout out to you, big dog, and shout out to the bag chasers. Also, the Great Way is in the building, says, you're on zero and someone gives you $1,000 to get started to make $1 million. What's your first move? Put it straight towards the debt and eliminate the amount of money that I'm giving in interest for the rest of the money that I make. I'm always gonna take the debt off first. The first thing that I'm gonna do, no matter what, is get rid of the debt. I know y'all want to go into the investment immediately, but I'm getting rid of the debt. That's the first thing that I'm going to do. Shout out to my dog, Mike, that dude. I appreciate you on Cash App, big dog. Thank you, Mike, that dude. My dog, Michael. Shout out to my dog, Michael, on Cash App. I appreciate you. Pat Jones. Let me give a round of applause to Pat Jones. Pat Jones says, for keep doing your thing, bro, please. No shout out. Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. I'm sorry, Pat. I was up there giving you praise and appreciation, and you told me not to give you praise and appreciation. I'm just so used to it. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you. Thank you, my dog. And thank you to everybody else that contributes on the platform. Eliezer, I appreciate you. You also deserve a round of applause. And shout out to all of y'all. Jamal Park says, appreciate it. I'm a young married man, and that kind of leadership is something I want to implement. So if anything happens to me and my wife, yeah, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to put that in a Patreon exclusive. I'm going to drop it tomorrow. I promise y'all I'm going to drop it tomorrow. Hold me up to it. Look at Chris James. Jesus Christ. Chris, what are you doing, big dog? Hello, did you and Mrs. Daniels get my email? Let me call Rita. I'll text her and make sure that she got the email. If y'all emailed it to AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. I did get it. We get about 300 emails a day, and we bust them down every day. So just give us a little bit of moment. We might need to get to some. Shout out to you, Chris James. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for pouring into the platform, big dog. I know you rich, so you out here killing it. Delta Fox says, 1,000 to make $1 million, you need at least, I forgot. He said that you need at least 5K first. No, that's not necessarily true. Hey, I'm going to make sure that I check the email today to go over that. All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? Y'all ready to get started with the show? All right. So first thing that we going to do is quick hits. Y'all know how I go. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we definitely want to make sure that we keep y'all informed on what's happening in these streets. Let's get to it. Let's get to the quick hits. Hold on. First thing on quick hits, ladies and gentlemen, is your super mayor, Tiffany Henyard. I heard a law firm is exiting because of default to payment. Let's get to it.
Tonight for embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. The law firm representing Henyard and the village of Dalton in a slew of lawsuits is asking to withdraw from those cases. The Delgado Law Group says it's not being paid, so it'll stop appearing in federal and state court and defending Dalton and Henyard in 22 different lawsuits. In a letter to Henyard and trustees obtained by Fox 32, the law firm says the village is facing millions of dollars in judgments from earlier cases and could potentially be on the hook for millions more in the current lawsuits, and says the village is quickly approaching the point of becoming uninsurable. Last night, we broke the news that the FBI has dropped a new round of subpoenas in its ongoing grand jury investigation into allegations of corruption. On Friday, serving subpoenas on Thornton Township, where Henyard also serves as township supervisor.
This is very sad. This is very sad because y'all do know that successfully running a city, successfully running a business, successfully running your household, it requires for you to be above board. And sometimes your image also factors into whether or not you can be successful doing that, right? And so, I am very much in favor of innocent until proven guilty. And so until we get, documents that show that she's being prosecuted by the federal government as a result of some of the stuff that she did in Dalton, I believe in due process, and that's across the board, right? I believe in due process. But here's the thing. Leadership requires for you to even give a presentation layer of greatness. It's not just whether or not you're doing something wrong or whether or not you're going to be prosecuted as a result of some of the things that you've done. It's also the optics. One of the reasons why I won't go any further up the ladder or up the chain in the organization that I'm currently a part of now is because I know that my platforms don't warrant positive visibility for what they're trying to do. And me becoming even more visible requires me to then disclose some things, to be a part of the face of the company. When you get to certain levels and you get to the C-suite, it's a little bit different. And so because of that, because I'm mindful of how that affects the organization and my bag personally, I don't want to. Even when I decided to start After Hours and a Millionaire Morning Show, because this Millionaire Morning Show used to be named After Hours, and then I changed it into the Millionaire Morning Show, moved it to the mornings, and then I changed After Hours from Fight Club. Before I started a new platform, I had been planning for months and months and months my retirement from corporate America back in 2019 because I had already seen what my trajectory was going to be. And so I said, you know what? Time to wrap it up. Made enough money, made my investments. Real estate is booming. Everything is going well. And so at the time I was working at Comerica Bank, before I affect my organization, because I had documented my life, I had used my real name online. My whole life is an open book. I decided that I wanted to be strategic in not ruining the reputation of a really, really great organization that had paid me well, did me really well. And I had moved up and done really well at that place. And so when it comes to public servants and leadership on that front, it's 10 times that, because you're not even working for a private organization. You're representing the people. You're representing your constituents. You're representing the ones that put you in office, the ones that voted for you. You're in charge of huge budgets. And we have to take that in consideration before we vote these people in office. But also, one of the reasons why they force a lot of these politicians to resign is because it's not good optics, it's not good management, and you're ruining the financing of, or you're ruining the finances of the organizations that you represent, which in this case is Dalton and Thornton Township. And they're sinking under a mountain of lawsuits. And even the law firm that they got said, listen, she's not really 25 to 0. They ain't even paying us, and they don't have the money to shell out for all of these judgments that they starting to get a part of. So I think the best thing for Dalton is for Tiffany Henyard to resign. I've never actually said that because, it's all been fun and games up to this point. But I think that the best thing for them is to resign, because she's literally ruining the entire city and throwing it under the bus. Anyways, that's Tiffany Henyard, ladies and gentlemen. In addition to that, campus protests continue to carry on, especially over in the Bay Area. Check it out.
Not backing down tonight, protests continue to grow at Bay Area universities, even as some students risk suspension. And now some faculty at one campus are taking action. NBC Bay Area's Marianne Favreau is at Stanford with a closer look.
The protest here at White Plaza is growing. There are now 23 tents and more people from outside the university.
Somebody said, I'm curious as to why you say it would ruin their reputation. Because I talk about all kind of stuff. I say the word hoes. I be cursing. Like, my messages is still what my message is, but it's not politically correct for the organizations that I represent, and, from a leadership perspective. So, I always say, and see, I can't be the pot calling the kettle black. I always say, for example, I don't believe in bringing your personal business into what you do professionally. So, for example, if you're a person that like to get buzzed down and your partner is of the same sex, I don't really care. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I don't really care, in that it shouldn't affect the way that you do your job. And more importantly, you shouldn't be bringing that into the office. So anything that you have going on outside that then affects what you got going on inside and causes a distraction from what y'all doing is not good for the organization, because they didn't sign up for your personal life. They signed up for you to be able to do your job. And when you start to go up in leadership, that affects how you're impacting and influencing other people. And so I'm mindful of that. And so because I'm mindful of that, I don't want to affect what's going on in the organization. So I just want to do my job at a lower level and get my bags and get my equity and get my bonuses and get my 401ks and all of that stuff. And so I am just mindful of how I affect other people and affect the organization. It's not about whether it's right or wrong. It's about whether the optics is good for business. And if it's not good for business, then I'm not going to affect the organization. I'm a professional. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take that in consideration. Y'all get so caught up in right and wrong. When you get to a certain level, it's about optics, visibility, how it affects business, how it affects your workers. You have to be way above more than just right and wrong and whether you're good at your job. It's also about how you affect the organization and whether people want to do business with that organization. And so that's why it's important.
Joining students to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. Another night of camping out at Stanford's White Plaza, even though the university has handed out letters to protesters letting them know they could be expelled or possibly even arrested for being here overnight.
Whether or not I get arrested is not as important as the liberation of the Palestinian people.
Protesters say they want Stanford to take action.
They basically saying they don't even care if they get expelled from school. It's not as important as their protests. Isn't that funny? Then why are you sitting there with your face wrapped up and making sure that we can't even see your eyes? I call cap. I call cap. They're sitting there and they're saying, oh, we don't care if we get, because the universities are starting saying, okay, listen, if y'all don't want to abide by the rules, then we're going to expel y'all from campus. And it's a possibility that y'all can be affected academically. And they sitting there and saying, oh, we don't care. We're not tripping about it. Then why is your face wrapped up? Why are you not worried about how that's going to affect you professionally in the next 10 years? That's one of the things that y'all got to take into consideration. When you do stuff today, let's say you go into Walmart and you got the money to pay, because it's a lot of people that be having the money to pay for the stuff that they wind up stealing. But let's say, for example, you go into Walmart, you go into Target, you go into all of these places, and you decide, you know what? I want to take some stuff because I don't feel like spending my money. I could just go and get this toothpaste, or I can just go and get this whatever. I'm going to just take whatever it is that I want. Or I'm going to ring this food up cheaper than what it is, even though if I got the money to pay for it. If you get caught, how does that affect your future? Will you have a record? Is things going to be absolutely messed up for you? It's more than just your current circumstances. Y'all got to start thinking longer term. It's people that mess up their future and can't get a job today, and they're the most talented person that I've ever seen in my life, all because of some stupid, dumb mistake that they made when they was younger.
I would like the university to cut all of its ties to Israel, to cut all of its ties to companies that aid Israel in funding the war crimes they commit against the Palestinian people.
Preliminary results of a recent student election show a majority of undergrad Stanford students support the university issuing a statement on divestment. At Sonoma State, protesters held a rally today and are camped out for a second night as they call for an end to the violence in Gaza. Cal Poly Humboldt is now closed for the remainder of the semester after protesters occupied 2 buildings. And protesting students at Berkeley continue to sleep in tents in front of Sproul Hall. At San Francisco State, students plan to hold a rally tomorrow, and professors have formed a local chapter of Faculty for Justice in Palestine to support them.
We're advising the university under no circumstances to deploy police. We are asking the university not to engage in any kind of academic retaliation, including but not limited to expulsion or suspension or eviction.
USC has already canceled its commencement because of on-campus protests, and many students in the Bay Area are wondering what might be next for them.
It's all bad. And I already knew that this was going to spiral out of control. I said it when we first started getting words of these protests. We knew that it was going to spiral out of control, and now these people is going to make a mistake that they're going to forever regret. These protests is going to go away. These wars are going to go away just like everything else. And then you're going to be stuck holding the bag, feeling stupid at the fact that you didn't do things a little bit differently. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, construction of a high-speed rail line actually starts in Vegas.
In Las Vegas, construction has begun.
God, that girl is so fine. This lady is fine. Hold on. I like that. No, okay, Tia Marie, I'm sorry, messy mathematician Azriel. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm just saying, it's so much easier to consume certain content when you see a beautiful face. You know, it's kind of like when you have a restaurant and you always make sure that you put the pretty girl up front to greet. It's always going to generate more revenue. Anyways, let's continue.
In Las Vegas, construction has begun.
Quentin, don't you start capping. Don't you start capping, Quentin.
What will be the fastest train line in America? CBS's Elise Preston has more.
The high-speed rail link will connect Vegas with existing train services in the eastern suburbs of Los Angeles. The developer says it will take about 2 hours to go each way. That's at least twice as fast as driving from LA to Vegas. The all-new electric train will zip along at 186 miles per hour. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg.
An estimated 10 million people will one day ride this line yearly, sitting comfortably on a new train, looking out the window at the Angeles National Forest.
This $12 billion high-speed system is expected to create 35,000 jobs.
The goal is to start running trains by...
Where did they be getting these numbers from? I mean, I know projections be optimistic, but you never, ever. Like, they be including the person that's going to deliver the mail to that area, the person the temporary construction worker that's only going to be on the job for 2 weeks. Oh, it's going to create 35,000 jobs. I'm curious where these projections come from. I'm genuinely curious. Is the job temporary, permanent? We always know that every single infrastructure deal that happens with the federal government always overrun by like 5 to 10 times. You know what I'm saying? It's going to cost 5 to 10 times the amount that they originally cited that it was going to quote. Be lying, man. They just be lying.
2028, when the Summer Olympics return to Los Angeles.
In San Francisco's Bay Area, BART used to be the future of public transportation.
These are the amenities that give people a new kind of transit experience.
But plans don't always work out. The last original BART car is now retired. In 1972, it made its debut. Billed as a space-age system.
No swaying or jolting.
Outfitted with gold carpet, upholstered seats, and the promise of a train every 90 seconds.
Free of vibration, quiet, smooth.
But after more than 5 decades plagued with low ridership, rising crime, and aging cars, BART upgraded and rolled out a brand new fleet, helping Californians connect. Elise Preston, CBS News.
It'll be interesting to follow this project. Like I said, most infrastructure projects take forever, and it don't even be good for the environment after they get done, because it already be outdated in China and Japan and all of these other countries be innovating and putting up new high-speed rail. I will say that a lot of these other countries, they invest a lot of money in the infrastructure and not so much in the social services. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. All right, so y'all ready to go ahead and get into the show? Before we get into the show, I am going to make sure that I go ahead and read these super chats, because I always want to acknowledge the people that contribute into the platform. Think and Throw podcast says, let me get a show when you buy that network. I seen this come up, and I was thinking to myself, oh man. It's a strategy, right? It's kind of like real estate. You got to get so depressed. You got to let it get so depressed and so unprofitable that it then starts to make financial sense to where the person don't have an emotional tie or connection to it. They'll actually be incentivized to sell it because it's financially what's best for both parties. So that's the business case for it. You don't always go into an area and just start spending all of the money just because people be like, oh my God, it means a lot to me. It's sentimental purposes. It got my name on it. Nah. We got to make sure that we let it suffer to the point to where it's not conducive for them to keep it. And then you make a reasonable offer that they can't refuse. And then you go from there. So, yeah, we're going to figure it out. Yeah. All right. Shout out to everybody that was on After Hours. I see me mention that. Mr. Daniels, what are your thoughts on dividend-paying whole life insurance, and does it hurt or help more? I am not a type of person that's ever going to incentivize you to go and get a dividend-paying whole life insurance, because the idea of what a dividend-paying whole life insurance is basically you purchase a life insurance, a whole life premium policy. That company that issued the policy will then invest a portion of that money into something that's supposed to be paying returns and dividends. And then they basically issue you a portion of that revenue over the life of, or the distribution from that dividend and that cash portion that they invested, right? And so basically what they're doing is they telling you to take out a life insurance policy. They're going to invest a portion or all of whatever it is that life insurance policy is. And then they'll issue dividend payments, quarterly or yearly dividend payments, depending on how well that investment does. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in it. I believe that life insurance is exactly that. It's life insurance. It's to make sure that the people can bury you and take care of themselves relatively okay after you die. I'm not a fan of it. I haven't done a whole lot of research into it, but I wouldn't do it personally. I would just stick to the normal investments that I'm already in. Normal real estate, investing my money in companies that are in the stock market that I otherwise wouldn't have had access to. So shout out to you for the question. Really good question. BZE says, hey, AD, can I get your thoughts on tech trades, i.e. HVAC, what I'm in, versus computer science, tech versus trades? I'm guessing that's what you're saying. What do you see growth and job security in more, and is it worth switching over? I don't know how much you're making in HVAC, and I don't know how far along you are in this. I think that you should do the thing that makes the most money for you currently while also investing in your future, so you always can switch over. I was supposedly going into trades. I was supposed to be a millwright. But then me losing my job before the 2008 housing crash actually expedited the process of me transitioning over into being a software engineer. And so I was always going to be a software engineer. The millwright was the thing that I was going to do in order to make the most money immediately, right? So if you're going into HVAC and you generating, the goal in life is to make as much money as you possibly can and then to put it into things that's going to make more money for you later on. That's the whole goal, right? So if you're trying to secure a long-term future for something for you to fall back on, I think that either one is fine. But the upside is you have to specialize when you pick in a computer science thing, right? So for me, I'm going into cybersecurity. I'm going to be a back-end developer, cloud, infrastructure, engineering, all of that stuff. It's all going to be good. HVAC is fine depending on how you do it, and they make a lot of money too. But you also got to take into consideration the amount of wear and tear that it's going to have on your body. So good question. Anton got smitten. Yeah, I did get smitten, BGC. Beton. The Gray Way says, no Tiege logo today. Oh, snaps, my bad. I did run a Tiege commercial, but we got the Tiege logo. You see how I just did that? Boom. Tiege logo. Make sure you get your Tiege pack. 30% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Shout out to the Tiege. We rock out with you, Tiege. We love you. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with the show. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Where do we want to start off with first? Let's start off with holding our ladies, my Mercedes. We're going to start off with holding the ladies accountable. We got to start off with holding the ladies accountable. We got to, ladies. I'm sorry. Because y'all out here fumbling the bag, and it seems like almost every single week, we see something in somebody doing something that does not make sense. Well, what do we have up first, okay? An unlicensed dentist is arrested, and HIV vampire facials. Have y'all heard of vampire facials? It's disgusting. Let's take a look. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, y'all. Stupid.
Only on two. A woman posing as a dentist is arrested in Schaumburg. Customers first came to CBS 2 to complain about fake braces and chipping teeth.
Lauren Victory is live in our newsroom now. Lauren, the woman is charged with a felony.
Yes, and this is not Monica Davis's first run-in with the law. In our CBS 2 investigation 2 weeks ago, we told you how Davis was arrested in January by police in Nevada for similar allegations that she was doing work on people's mouths without a license. Monica Davis turned herself in to Schaumburg police. Investigators charged her with practicing medicine without a license. That's a felony.
Teeth whitening.
The self-proclaimed dentist with no credentials is seen working on a patient in this online advertisement posted in October. Davis says her company, called the Veneer Experts, offers all sorts of services.
Missing teeth replacement, braces removal, and veneers.
Monica Bailey and her daughter say they received...
Oh no, her teeth wasn't even hitting like that. Dawg, you're not going to show up to me on no advertisement looking like Mr. Ed with a whole bunch of grease on your face and a wig on talking about, man, y'all go for anything. Y'all go for anything. Anything that is advertised to y'all on TikTok, y'all say, yep, I want to be a part of it. Y'all so gullible. Y'all don't require for nobody to show their license when y'all go inside of the organization or y'all go into the dentist office. You know, all of the degrees and stuff usually is up on the wall as soon as you go to the back. As soon as you go to the back and say, hey, University of Michigan or Michigan State or Ohio State or Alabama, or whatever, School of Dentistry. Y'all just go in and y'all look at a TikTok ad and you be like, yep, price is right. I'm in there. The price is right. I'm in there. Y'all be letting chicks shoot y'all up with all of these injections. Y'all only got one body. Then you be walking around looking like an ant with Mr. Ed teeth. You got an ant body and teeth of a horse. Horse teeth, ant body. That's a bad combination. That's a bad combination. Jesus. Y'all pick all of the wrong attributes of the insects and animals. You're supposed to have the strength of an ant, not the body of an ant. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus Christ.
Replacement, braces removal, and veneers.
Monica Bailey and her daughter say they received braces from the veneer.
She got a, yep. got a black husband. I could spot it a mile away. See, look, we was just talking about this. I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted, but you know, my context clues calls for me to look at some other caveats when I'm looking at these stories, right? You know how we doing on the Millionaire Morning Show. This is why they ain't gave us our 30 million yet. They say, Anton, you can't just talk about the fact that she's arrested. No, I got to look at the people that made the accusations also. We said, and me and 2K said it. 2K, I got to give him some credit. He said, Anton, when these black guys get with these white women, and don't get me wrong, Anton loves everybody. I am not a blackity black, nor am I racist. I believe that you should talk to whoever it is that you want to talk to when you want to talk to them. You go where you celebrate it, not where you tolerate it. But when these guys get with these women, most of the time they be women that white men be rejecting. Look at that flat back. You can't be a fat back and a flat back at the same time. You're going to have to pick an F. You got to pick a F. You can't be a flat back and a fat back at the same time. Pick a F. Remove the L or add the L. Pick one, but you can't be both. That is a flat back. Ain't nothing on that, and she's arching, putting her back into it so that she can have her butt stick out a little bit more. Don't sit, Quentin was on there. Don't sit here and tell me. That's a black daddy. Daddy, look, they gonna cut the daddy out the picture because she a baby daughter, a baby mama. I'm looking at this picture and I'm pulling up all of the context clues. That's a baby mama. That's why they cut the man out of the picture. He on the other side of the graduation. And then she got her daughter who black, got the Afro puffs, flat back, Asian like milk, and fat back with them sandals on and them big cankles, them fat ankles. I keep telling y'all, elbows, neck, ankles, knees. Elbows, neck, ankles, knees. Those are all of the clues when you're dealing with a woman. The neck tell the age. The elbows tell you a lot of other things. I'm not going to talk about that. The knees, ankles, that'll tell you how healthy she is, or whether or not she's been getting injections or she been taking shortcuts. Is she in the gym or is she taking shortcuts? The ankles is going to tell you who she is from a health perspective. The neck is going to tell you her age. The elbows and the knees, the kneecaps, Adam's apple, that goes without saying. But you don't need to look at anything else. 4 things. 5 if you want to add the Adam's apple. But that goes without saying. Neck, elbows, knees, ankles. Okay? Y'all with me here? Are we cooking on the Millionaire Morning Show, or are we not cooking on the Millionaire Morning Show? Real talk. Are we cooking on the Millionaire Morning Show, or are we cooking? Are we talking about it? So then they ghetto, just like all of the other chicks that be wearing bonnets out in the street, and y'all think that just because she got on some fake Gucci glasses that she not ghetto. She ghetto too. Got the tiger stripe on her, the rock tattoo on her shoulder. Probably got the standard. Y'all know what y'all get, the standard tramp stamp on the back, and then get his name. Baby mamas. And she went to go get some teeth, and she took her daughter without the father's permission. I know what happened. Let's continue.
Experts in this Schaumburg office building after seeing an ad on Facebook. They say they had trouble booking a follow-up appointment.
One of the numbers was disconnected. The other one, nobody would answer.
Look at them teeth. Woo! Look at them teeth. Injection in the lips. Eyebrows drawn on. Teeth messed up. The eyes. Those ain't her real eyes. No, man, I got this chick. She got some wild, like, silver eyes. That ain't her eyes. That is not her eyes. Let me stop. She the victim. We want to hold the woman accountable that's out here being a fake dentist. Let's get to it.
Bailey started researching and discovered her so-called dentist installed her braces after being picked up by police in Las Vegas for operating without a dental license there.
Gotta get that
money. It's
money.
crazy to me that she can do this in Las Vegas and post bail and you come here and do the same thing.
Ma'am, you booked her off of Facebook Marketplace. What did you think you was going to get? Listen, for the future, for everybody that don't know, do not book your dental appointments on Facebook Marketplace. If you see a woman with a TikTok ad and she don't have a license, that means you shouldn't go to her for your braces, veneers, resin, teeth cleaning, none of that. You can go to a dental school and go and get your teeth cleaned for hardly nothing, all right?
It's like you have no fear.
Bite together.
In a previous CBS 2 investigation, a real licensed dentist examined Bailey and determined the braces from Davis do nothing.
They don't connect to anything in the back, and so there's no way to move the teeth.
Another one of Davis's customers.
Ah! She got this boy coming out here looking like a vampire. Hey. Oh, Jesus. Got that boy coming out here looking just like the vampire in Brooklyn. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. Y'all didn't look for no testimonials? Heck no. This boy about to take your whole throat off. Don't let him go down on you, ladies. It's over. It's over. Ripping everything out. Oh, man. Good God. What is wrong with y'all? Jesus.
Tells us his tooth chipped just days after he received veneers. A third Davis client says her molar fell out after her appointment.
Oh, what is in the background? Yo, this is some crazy junk, bro. Y'all deserve exactly what y'all get. In this case, y'all deserve exactly what y'all get.
I heard back from Davis's lawyer a short time ago. He says she just wants her day in court. A hearing is scheduled for Tuesday. We'll be sure to follow up. Live in the newsroom, I'm Lauren Victory, CBS 2 News.
All right.
Oh, man, tell me about it, Chris James. We so unproductive on this show. This is the Unproductive Millionaire Morning Show. Anyways, but in addition to that, we have more. I didn't know, I've never heard of this until Rita sent me this morning. This, ladies and gentlemen, is called a vampire facial. A vampire facial. But apparently, it's drawing blood. And guess what? Some people contracted HIV as a result of getting a vampire facial. I am watching this for the first time, but I had to add this into the Millionaire Morning Show in the beginning before we really get serious about the other stuff in the show. Let's talk about it.
The CDC is now detailing what it says are the first known cases of HIV transmitted by so-called vampire facial injections. Have you heard about this? The agency is detailing 3 cases where women ended up being diagnosed with the virus, most likely after getting the treatment at an unlicensed spa in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The first case came up in 2018. Then another woman tested positive for HIV a year later, and a third case just last year. In a joint investigation by the
probably
CDC
all using
and
the same
Mexico's
needles.
health officials, investigators say they found a rack of unlabeled tubes of blood on a kitchen counter
Jesus
and in the
Christ.
fridge at the spa next to food and injectable anesthetics.
Oh, I see why y'all did it. Kim Kardashian did it. Oh, y'all got it because Kim K got a vampire facial. I told y'all gonna get enough of following these celebrities. Y'all gonna get enough of following these celebrities. I don't want nothing where it's blood all over my face, fam. I don't want anything where it's a bunch of blood all over my face. What is wrong with y'all? Vampire facials? Have y'all seen this junk? This junk look crazy. What is it supposed to do? Y'all looking like whole fools out here. Jeez, oh peas. A vampire facial. Good God. What are y'all coming up with next? Never in my life have I seen such foolishness. from people. And now y'all getting HIV all because Kim K did it. Okay.
They also allegedly found unwrapped needles in drawers, on counters, and in the trash can. Investigators say dozens of clients may have been exposed to HIV. Dr. Kavita Patel joins me now. Kavita, I got to say, I was scratching my head on this one. The owner of that spa has been sentenced to 2 years in prison. How do these so-called vampire facials work?
Only got 2 years in prison for giving y'all HIV because y'all went to an unlicensed back hole in the wall place in order to get this because y'all wanted to be like the chicks in Hollywood.
Yeah, Tom, there's a lot to scratch your head about, but this is actually pretty straightforward. It might not be for everyone, but this has been going on, these vampire facials. More specifically, they use something called PRP, plasma-rich protein. The process is simple, Tom. They take blood from you and take it out from your arm, then take it into a machine, spin it, then take out the golden part of that blood, the serum, the protein-rich part, and then using microneedles, inject it back into other parts of your body, in this case, your face. And it can help plump up collagen. There's reports of it reducing fine lines, that type of thing.
Okay, so if somebody's injecting their own blood, then how are they getting HIV? Unless
Because they're using bad needles from somebody that already had it and had HIV and they're not disposing of it safe.
There's some sort of cross-contamination, right?
You hit the nail on the head. It's what the CDC found. You just described what is truly a nightmare for any infection control nurse, much less anybody who's a patient who walks in. But there are so many steps in that process: drawing the blood, making sure it's appropriately labeled, then taking out that kind of golden serum, and then even inject back into someone's face. So you could imagine with all those steps, Tom, if you don't label something, you don't swap out the needles, you don't make sure you're using sterile procedures, then you can have kind of a maelstrom of bad effects. And in this case, unfortunately, HIV.
You know, we've been talking about the risks of some cosmetic injections lately. Just recently, we did a story on fake Botox injections. Right. And it seems like maybe we're seeing all these treatments becoming kind of trendy. So what should people keep an eye out for if they do want to go to a spa to
Don't get it.
get a vampire facial or something else? Or maybe should they not? But I'll let you pick it up from there.
Right. We know that people are getting them, whether we recommend them or not. The American Academy of Dermatology has said that they haven't really found sufficient evidence for these facials. But Tom, like you said, people are getting them. The CDC recommends that we put requirements in place for these aesthetic procedures. But until then, Tom, kind of beware of the environment. If you walk in and you're not seeing kind of these sterile practices, you don't notice people washing hands, putting gloves on, making sure they're double checking your name, your date of birth. If they do anything with blood, then get out. It's just not worth it. You should even be able to comfortably ask at the front desk and say, let me understand what your safety procedures are. Tom, these are cash pocket, out of pocket practice. This is not covered by insurance. You have the right to ask. Always ask up front.
That's horrible, and that's unfortunate. And a lady only got 2 years in prison in order to get y'all HIV. And y'all just going through with it, and y'all not even seeing it as a big deal. So, you know what? You get what you asked for. You get what you asked for. You wanted a vampire facial. I was about to say something else. You wanted a vampire facial. You know, they got all kind of facials, and you ain't have to get it. I know of some facials that can actually help you, and you can do some other stuff. Let me read the super chats. I know that this ain't after hours, so it's a lot of types of facials. You don't have to get a vampire one. Yo, I promise if y'all give me my $30 million, I won't talk about facials. I promise to God I won't talk about facials if y'all give me my $30 million. I'm going to switch up my content. Y'all going to be able to trust me. And we're going to be able to have a good show. I promise y'all. Because it's all off the cuff. And so it's not like I meant to say this. It's really more just like it's a natural thing. It's a natural conversation. You know what I'm saying? No? Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Rita, take care of that. You got it. Don't worry about it. Let me read some of these super chats and then we'll continue over with the show. Hamco says, advice to a 20-year-old self, AD, love your stuff. Advice to my 20-year-old self. I did most stuff correctly. What would I tell my 20-year-old self? Don't buy the car. Don't take on no debt. Don't get no credit cards. And don't move out of your mother's place. Those are the things that I would tell my 20-year-old self. Don't buy that. Don't finance that car or cars. Don't move out of your mother's place. Stay in your parents' place as long as you possibly can. Don't get any credit cards, and don't spend no money impressing people that don't even care about you and you're not even going to see 10 years from now. That's what I would tell my 20-year-old self. No self-inflicted wounds. Put every single thing that you can, at least 50% of your income, because you starting off from zero. Then it's okay to be broke because ain't nobody got no money anyway at 20 years old. It's all fluff. It's all fake. Spend every 50% of your income should be going into investments. 50% of your income at 20, because you're not used to having nothing anyway. 50% of your income should be going towards investments. Spend every dollar that you can, throwing it into things that's going to pay off 10 years from now. Forget this. Forget the impressing people. Forget the cars. Forget the Hellcat. Forget all of that nonsense. Stay with your parents. Stay down and spend every dime that you can investing in things that's going to be conducive for your future. That's what I would tell my 20-year-old self. Shout out to y'all for the good questions today. I got some good questions today. Chris James says this show is distracting today. It's too much already. I'm unproductive now, laughing my butt off. Shout out to my dog, Chris James. You Can't Stop the Rain says Count Blackula. Man, that dude's teeth was so down. Rod Jones in the building says, is that Blackula or Blade's little brother? I like Blade. Blade actually was one of the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that put the whole thing back on the map. Blade was popping. Mrs. K says, vampire facial sounds scary. Like, why? I didn't know that was a thing. This is the first time that I heard of it. Zach said, that's witchcraft right there, trying to stay young. I think I'm about to get into that whole want to be young forever movement. J. Ben says, they quit hating men. Serum is free. We could fix that and give you clear skin at the same time. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm definitely here for and appreciate every last one of you guys for making sure that you hold me down. It does not go unappreciated. Y'all are the greatest on earth, bar none. Y'all ready to continue on with the show? All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. So the next thing that we want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is have y'all seen this video of the New York District Attorney refusing to stop, or one of the New York District Attorneys refusing to stop for the police officers? And then I got another bonus video of showing y'all exactly what the culture is like because y'all refuse to get hard on crime, our district attorneys. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it.
Down to the upstate New York district attorney who is under scrutiny tonight after ignoring a traffic stop. The incident was captured on police body camera video. DA Sandra Dorley is seen having a tense exchange with a police officer. Local leaders are demanding an investigation and what the DA is saying tonight about that encounter. Here's ABC's Rena Roy.
Tonight, growing calls to investigate this New York State district attorney.
Get out of my house.
Stunning police body camera footage obtained by our affiliate WHA.
How much does district attorneys make? That's a pretty massive play. Hold on. Let me see something. I gotta go New York. New York District Attorney makes about $106,000 a year. That house is if that's a New York house, that got to be worth well over $700,000. Fannie Willis says she was making $200K as a district. Yeah, but Fannie Willis is like high up there. I'm looking at it. It says, how much does a district attorney make in New York City? New York, as of April 21st, 2024, the average annual pay for district attorney jobs category in New York City is $106,281 a year. That's how much it says on ZipRecruiter. Sometimes it can get up to $190,000 a year. I don't know. She might be balling. And I guess it depends on what level you are. Manhattan District Attorney's Office. So maybe that's just the salaries inside of the office. And she actually probably make more than $165,000 a year. Okay, so I could be off. I need to look into it. So let's assume you make somewhere between $150,000 and $200,000 a year. All right, let's continue.
AM showing Monroe County DA Sandra Dorley moments after authorities say she refused to pull over for a traffic stop last week, instead driving home. The officer following Dorley less than a mile to her garage, confronting her.
What is the reason you're so against what I'm doing? I'm doing my job. You say you're a DA?
I am the DA.
Okay.
Woo! Okay. How is that any different, Sam? Do you know who the F I am? Do you know who the I am? Now, what's her name again? Let me see something. Sandra Dorley. All right, let me look this up. Sandra Dorley salary. Because all of that stuff should be public information. She says, I'm the DA. Salaries in local government, according to the EmpireCenter.org, says that, hold on, let me see something. I'm the DA. Okay. District Attorney Sandra Dorley, who earned nearly $200,000 as district attorneys in New York, have received raises in recent years on par with raises for state judges. So she makes roughly $200,000 a year. $200,000 a year is around what she makes as a district attorney. They said, do you know who I am? She says, I am the, he said, you're a district attorney? She said, I am the district attorney. Let me get you my badge. I'm the district attorney of Monroe County. So she make 200 bands a year and she said, I'm the DA. Watch your step. Watch your step, big dog.
Let me get you my badge. I am the DA of Monroe County.
Dorley admitting she was
Look, they just going through their car. Don't matter. They don't even worry about them. See, if it was me, they'd be like, I'm sorry, sir. Keep your hands out. Hands out.
I was going 55 coming home from work.
55 and a 35.
I don't really care.
Claiming she did not hear the sirens and didn't stop because of other cars, appearing to use her position of power to intimidate the responding officer.
I understand the law better than you.
At one point, she even appears to call the police chief.
35, I'm Philip Throat.
To leave me alone.
Can you stay over here, ma'am? This is a legal traffic stop.
Eventually telling the officer to write her a ticket.
I'm the one who prosecutes it, okay? Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead.
And ultimately apologizing.
You know what I've been dealing with all day? 3 murders in the city. And do you think I really care if I was going 20 miles over the speed limit?
In a statement, Dorley saying she pled guilty and had no intention of using her position to receive a benefit, adding nobody, including your district attorney, is above the law.
Dorley says she's already paid the fine. Rena Roy joins us now here in New York. Rena, we know county officials are asking for a probe. What can you tell us about their request for New York State Attorney General Letitia James to investigate?
Oh, they got some hotties on here today. Let's get to it.
Investigate her conduct.
Well, Lindsay, city council members say they are questioning Dorley's fitness to serve because of her behavior. We have reached out to the AG's office for comment, but haven't heard back yet.
She basically leveraged her position in order to try to get out of a ticket, which was dumb. I always say, I was telling somebody over the weekend about traffic tickets, and I always say that traffic lights and speed limits are merely suggestions for people that have resources. I hate to say it. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but that only matters if you out here riding dirty, you a dope dealer, you riding with a pistol that you ain't supposed to have, or you don't have resources, and you riding on a suspended license and you don't want to be in jail over the weekend. Those are merely suggestions. for people like me. I was riding with my cousin because we was going to the store after coming from the draft parties and stuff like that. And we was going to the gas station. I was like, "Oh, I'm not stopping at that. I'm not stopping at no light. I'm not stopping." Because if you stop at a light for too long, I come from the hood where that used to be food. If you just stopping at a stoplight for too long, no. I'll be right in front of the police officers. I'm going to go ahead and take off, officer. You go ahead and catch me and you give me that ticket. I feel more comfortable with you behind me than them boys behind me. You know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to traffic tickets and speed limits, write me the ticket. I ain't tripping about that. I get that over to my lawyer. We're going to get that fixed and we're going to go ahead and solve for that. But I am not tripping about no traffic ticket. And her being a DA, she should have just been like, "Oh, okay, well, cool. Write me the ticket and I'll figure it out." But you on camera looking stupid and now it's becoming a national story is dumb. Absolutely dumb. But in other news, over in California, they still breaking into homes and they still tearing apart people's stuff. And they caught it all they call it all on camera. And this is what it looks like when people run through your stuff, ransack your home, and take your stuff.
Break-in in broad daylight. Burglars ransack a Lakewood home in just a matter of minutes, taking cash and jewelry along with a safe.
And the victim watched it all go down on security cameras as she was waiting for the deputies to get there. Rachel Menitoff, live in Lakewood with the latest on this. Rachel?
Rick, Karine, that's right. The homeowner was watching this in real time on the Ring app on her phone, and the only thing she could do was call 911 as two thieves essentially tore apart her house. Now, this homeowner is too shaken to speak with us at the moment, but we did talk to her neighbor, Belinda. Belinda's home was burglarized 2 months ago, also in broad daylight in a very similar way. Listen to how she describes it.
Honestly, I feel like they walked up, they waved as if they were waving at a camera, and they were in and out really fast. There wasn't even any activity downstairs is what it appeared to be. They opened one drawer, but they knew exactly where they were going, is what it seemed like. I mean, they seemed like they knew what they were doing. They were in and out so fast enough that the police couldn't respond to that. You know, maybe they target an area where they know how long it takes for people to arrive.
And Belinda's home was burglarized at the end of February, just before 10 a.m. This most recent burglary happened around 11:30 on Thursday, April 25th.
That's a dope house, too. That house looked like it's pretty sweet. It's pretty spacious.
On Lakewood Drive, right next to the well-known Lakewood Country Club, the homeowner shared this surveillance video showing the ordeal.
Is that a
dog? It shows the suspects looking through the windows and casing the house until they break through one of the doors. They're wearing masks to conceal their identities and hoodie sweatshirts. One of the suspects appears to smash what may be a security device to the ground, and then they both go upstairs and start collecting suitcases and whatever they can get their hands on. This includes cash, jewelry, and a safe. They're only inside the home for about 4.5 minutes before they take off. Nearby residents shared their shock and concern with us.
It's absolutely insane to me to hear that two people broke into this house in broad daylight. I just can't understand it, really, that would happen in a neighborhood like this. It's a tight-knit community where everybody knows each other's names first and last, and everybody's just really friendly and welcoming.
And the suspects apparently fled in a dark-colored SUV. The sheriff's department is now searching for the getaway car. As for the burglary at Belinda's home, she tells me that there hasn't even been a detective assigned to her case, and she hasn't been able to recover any of the stolen items, which include precious family heirlooms.
And nobody cares because we have now given a green light to thieves. We have given a green light to people that rob homes. We have no regard for you and your belongings and your precious metals. We don't care about the safe. The detectives is not going to investigate. The prosecutors is not going to prosecute. And if they do ever go to jail for getting into something else that has nothing to do with your burglary or the burglary of your home, then they're going to be partying with contraband and they're going to be having a good old time with all of the friendly inmates and be with cell phones and be cooking up and having a good time. They're going to be smoking trees. They get drone drops in front of the prisons and the jails now. No big deal. And they're going to be out on no bail soon anyway to come and rob you again. So, and they're going to master what they did to make sure that they don't get caught a new time. So that's what's happening over in California and in New York, where Your New York district attorney refused to stop, and she wanted to leverage her position in order to try to get out of a ticket like an idiot, making over $200,000 a year. But who am I? What do I know? What do we know over here on the Millionaire Show? Absolutely nothing. Let's continue on with the show. I'm going to read a super chat, and then we're going to continue over with the show because I want to make sure that you guys get as much value as possible. Rod Jones is in the building, says this is a suburb of Rochester, upstate New York, has a bad attitude. She's been like this for years. Webster is a bougie area, and her husband earns a bag. I told y'all, man, even when a husband earn a bag and stuff like that in these relationships, the women still work. In most households, I don't know where this new thing is where all of these people are basically saying, oh my God, we just want to be a housewife. We don't want to work anymore. We just want to relax and have a good time and enjoy life and sit by the pool. And we don't even have small children. Most women work. Most women work that even when they have powerful husbands, you be seeing these senators and these legislators and these Congress people and all of that, they be working. I mean, they don't really do no work. They just be wasting taxpayer dollars, but they be working out here in these streets. Let's continue over with the show. So I got to give you an update because I haven't in a long time. I got to give you guys an update on what's happening in the migrant crisis. Now, I know that y'all said that Anton probably forgot about the migrant crisis. He don't talk about it anymore. That's not necessarily true. It's just that it's not been the hot story because there's been so many other things that's happening in order to keep us distracted from the things that's actually meaningful in these streets. You know what I'm saying? But the migrant crisis is very much up, well, and running. Sanctuary cities are still taking in all of your new constituents that's going to be determining your elections and taking your jobs. And they found new border hotspots in order to cross. And they've even made sure that schools cancel their graduations because they refuse to leave these areas in which they say that they don't want to be in a hotel anymore. They want to be unhoused. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. The migrant crisis is up and well and running. Let's continue.
A New York City soccer club game, got canceled over the weekend after a group of migrants refused to leave the field. You know, illegal immigrants, even after police were called. The field sits near two major illegal immigrant shelters with multiple reports of violence. Our next guest is a New York City youth soccer coach who says the same thing happened to him and to his team. Outreach U NYC co-founder George Lanisi joins us now. George, when you read the story, you related to it, right?
Yes, actually we're a youth football program, and yeah, we could relate to it. We showed up early to set up the field, and when we got on the field, there was a full soccer game going on.
And you knew these players didn't belong out there, right? It was a pickup game.
Exactly, it was a pickup game. So the co-founder of About You and president of the Harlem Jets, Alex Coombs, walked up to the guy running it and told him that we had a field. The field showed him our permit, and he refused to get off the field. And ensued to an argument for about 15 minutes, and finally me and another coach just started lining up the cones right across the field, and they started to walk off.
So you got through this. Now, this case, they waited there. They told the kids to get off. The NYPD told them to get off. They still didn't get off. They said, where's your permit? No one really travels to the field with their permit, but the assistant coach got it. They came back, they had the refs, and they did it. And after all this, the parents said, you know what? I don't feel safe here. These guys aren't leaving the sideline. They pulled their kids off. Now think about that, how hard it is to get a field, to get kids together, 40 kids together, to go play a soccer game, a bunch of soccer games in one day, and then the kids have to go home because of this.
Yes, the problem with it is that a lot of people don't have the perspective of what it's like in New York City. If you live in the suburbs, there's fields all over the place. It's hard to get a field in New York City, so there's a permit system. And when you're going out there and all of a sudden your game gets canceled because people won't get off the field that don't have a permit, it's heartbreaking because the kids in New York City just went through all this with COVID. We were the last to bring back sports. Now it's going round two with other people, other than kids, are being put first.
What about?
They don't care nothing about your system. They don't care about your rules. Listen, they ain't got no jobs. They ain't got nothing to do. They getting free benefits. They getting free health care. Their kids is in school. You over there trying to follow the rules, and they say, hey, man, listen, hey, you know you messed up, and you know we in the backward system. Man, that chick down there her body is banging. So I'm right by the window, so I got a little bit of a view of all of the people that be walking their little doggy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get a little bit distracted and I get thrown off. If you want me to do the Millionaire Morning Show with no problems and you don't want me to get thrown off from what's happening in these streets, then do not, I repeat, do not put me in front of a window where people can walk past and take their doggies on a little walk. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want me to get distracted, if you don't want me to have inspiration, then put me in a windowless room and tell me to do my show without any kind of distractions. Otherwise, I'm going to look. I'm sorry. I know a lot of y'all have trained yourselves to do like this. When y'all see something that y'all like, I go over there and I'll be like, this is an interesting product right here. I would like to know more about it to see what's going on out in these streets. Anyways, let's not be distracted. So, we know Migrants is kicking people off the foot, off the soccer field, and they doing their thing. They checking y'all. They say, listen, where your permit at, homie? Where your permit at? Yakar said something in the chat. He said, let me tell you something, bro. They not doing this. They're not. Y'all want me to, Quentin, want to put me back by the graffiti wall? Quentin, really? 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 Now I got to go back and do my show back there? I got to go back to the graffiti wall. I was thinking that this was a good view because I got all of this sunlight. Y'all want me to go back to the graffiti wall, huh? Okay, I promise to do better. I promise to do better, okay? Just have y'all permits when these migrants come and check y'all, though.
As Texas steps up its efforts to secure the southern border, the migrant crisis is shifting west. For the first time in decades, San Diego is now the top hotspot for migrant apprehensions. It has overtaken Tucson with nearly 20,000 reported encounters over the last 2 weeks.
Let's look at these numbers really quickly. Migrant apprehensions at the southern border over the last 2 weeks. This is not migrants that actually made it in there or migrants that attempted to cross. This is the apprehensions at the southern border. Week of April 10th through the 16th, that's 7 days. In Tucson, 7,500 people. Another week, April 17th through the 23rd, the week after, 7,600 people. In San Diego, 9,000 people. Week after, 9,500 people that were apprehended over the border over the last 2 weeks. Jesus Christ. I got some pull down shades. I got some blackout pull down shades. I'm going to leave them up though. This is what's happening over at the San Diego and Tucson border.
Let's bring in California Republican Congressman Darrell Issa, who serves on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thank you. Why do you think San Diego is now a preferred illegal crossing point?
Because there's no attempt to stop the people. San Diego used to be the preferred area, and then we put up the wall. We were the first to have a border fence, and then the first to have a triple border fence. But now that the gates are open, and contrary to the previous segment you just had on, when I've met with people at the border from multiple countries, including China, Russia, and so on, they have said,
Sister, this is just the people that got apprehended. This is not the ones that actually made it over.
They're here for jobs. They haven't said to me, and I'm there with translators, they haven't said they're here seeking asylum, and they still get to stay in. The policy today, they may say that they deport a great many, but the reality is they just have to show up and they're welcomed in. Until we return to Mexico, which we have a right to do, we are going to continue to have it. And like I say, a fence does no good if the gates open with a welcome mat.
Hey, remember when they used to tell us that they were asylum seekers? Gosh, where's all of these girls coming from? What the freak is going on? All right, I'm about to pull these shades down and turn some more. I like the natural light. The natural light makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to do the things that I'm going to do on a regular basis. This is why I got my desk set up the way that it is. But I don't know where all of these tricks is coming from. And all of them got mutts that they walk in. But remember when they used to say asylum seekers? Remember that? They didn't used to say, oh my God, now it's just, look, we just coming in for jobs. We ain't even got to say what we here for. We coming over here in order to get this money, get this work, get this health care, get this free education, and get these hotel rooms and get these jobs. That's what they coming over here for. They ain't even trying no more. They ain't even hiding. The reason that they're not seeking asylum, they're not running from nobody, they're running from themselves.
And so I understand your point that it's policy that needs to be changed. In the meantime, what adjustments will San Diego Border Patrol agents make in response to this surge?
Well, the brave men and women, not only of the Border Patrol, but of ICE and Coast Guard, they're spending most of their time and most of their effort, and it is productive, but it's against the tide. They're going after fentanyl. They're going after methamphetamines. San Diego's the #1 importing area for drugs. And I have 100 miles of the Mexican border, along with one other congressman for all of San Diego County. Whether they come in through the water, they come in around the fence, out in the desert. We have an onslaught of that. Every month, thousands of pounds are seized just inside trucks that are trying to get in with false floors and false walls. That's the epidemic that at least the men and women of these agencies are still able to do something about. But if we're not able to stem the flow, there's an awful lot of backpacks full of drugs that are getting in, and it's crazy. Poisoning. Over 100,000 Americans will die this year from fentanyl alone.
Maybe it's population
And
control.
besides policy change, does San Diego need more federal aid, and if so, in what form?
No, we're a sanctuary state. We've asked for it. Our $73 billion deficit speaks legions when you're in the highest tax state in the union. So quite frankly, it is not appropriate to send money to a state that is part of the problem, not part of the solution. If you want to send money, send it to Texas, who's trying to do the right thing against against a president who won't let them do it. That would be where I would send the aid. I'd send the aid to the National Guards and so on that are at least having some success in keeping at least some of the criminal element out of Texas.
Could you imagine being in a $78 billion deficit, but continuing to just go down the same path that got you there in the first place? We had a show, I believe it was on Friday or Thursday. I believe it was Friday. We had a show on Friday that basically broke down, where I broke down to you guys the credit rating system when it comes to these cities, exactly how they get these deficits, legacy operations that they're continuing to pay for, including pensions, how difficult it is for them to continue to maintain a tax base when the tax revenue is not still coming in the same way that it used to. And it's even more exaggerated in certain places that don't even take tax revenue, but it's bad. It's absolutely bad all across America. So many different cities, including cities in border towns and, the Floridas, the Texas. Houston already said that they broke. We're going to go over a story today where it's a lot of stuff that's happening down in Houston. I heard that the turkey leg hut caught on fire the other day. I know that that's completely irrelevant, but I heard that the turkey leg hut caught on fire. I'm looking for information on that before I cover the whole story, because they're going to say, Anton, you always against it. No, I'm not. I just cover the stories that make the national news. That's important in order for us to add value into y'all life, to tell y'all what to do or what not to do. But my point is that we are operating at a massive deficit inside of the United States of America, including California. California is one of the worst perpetuators of using resources from taxpayers to do things that's not in the best interest of taxpayers. But we're going to continue to go down this path because nobody wants to hold anybody accountable. And it's unfortunate that this is happening to the American people, because you guys deserve better. You absolutely, positively deserve better. But I'm going to keep my foot on their neck, and I'm going to keep y'all up to date on what's going on with these migrant hotspots and these border crossings. And I call it a migrant crisis. Let's continue on with the show. Let me read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to continue on. Dynamic Mentality says, getting distracted just lets us know you're aware of your surroundings. Admire the view. See that? You get it. You get it. And then my dog, the stat sheet stuffer, is in the building, says, Anton is me, just trying to walk to my truck in downtown San Diego. Yoga pants and small dogs pissing all over the place. Distractions. You get it. You know what I'm suffering through. I'm suffering in real life. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to have some sympathy for me. All right, let's get to layoffs. Y'all want to get to layoffs? Y'all want to get to the money? Y'all want to get to what's really happening out in these streets? All right, let's get to it. I want to talk about layoffs, ladies and gentlemen, because Layoffs has been abound in so many different places, but one of the places that they don't talk about layoffs in is in the government. Yeah, local, federal. Layoffs are everywhere. While they continue to tell you all that jobs are up, layoffs are up, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's start off in Houston. Houston ISD workers are being laid off en masse.
We do begin with some shocking news to hundreds of HISD employees. They were unfortunately told today that they will be laid off at the end of the school year.
Yeah, absolutely stunned for so many families here tonight. Fox 26's Jonathan Mejia is live for us outside of HISD headquarters here this hour. Who will be impacted exactly here, Jonathan?
Yeah, Hector Mirales, the union president, confirmed with me that 300 to 350
Hold on, man. Where your stash at, bro? Where your stash at, fam? I don't like that. Is that like a requirement? Do you get a better job or better placement if you decide not to wear no stash? Where your stash at, bro? You got a striped shirt on, a horizontally striped shirt. Dog, they must have just called him in from the street. Hey, man. Hey, John over there. He called off today. I need you to step in immediately. Okay. Cut your stash off. Oh, man. I finally got my shot. Where your stash at, man? Who told y'all that newscasters cannot wear mustache? I don't understand that junk. Look at Quentin trying to defend it. Some people don't like facial hair done. Well, where did he get that shirt from? Why is it not a solid shirt? It's no collars already. So if you're going to wear a no collar shirt, you can't have stripes going down the middle of your shirt, big dog. Come on, we got to pick it up. Even the news is falling off. Good Jesus Christ.
HISD employees will no longer have their jobs by the end of the school year on June 30th. Now, this doesn't include teachers. This more so includes maintenance workers, clerks, staff that are on the ground doing the work.
A lot of them are caught off guard that this took effect immediately, 2 days after payday.
Hundreds of HISD employees were told today that they will no longer have a job at the end of the school year on June 30th and could reapply for their positions if they chose to.
What's going on right now is unjust. I think people should speak out. I think community leaders should speak out. I think people in higher places should speak out.
Hector Mirales is the union president for the Texas Support Personnel Employees Local 1 group, and he says the district did not give these employees the proper timing to seek help.
4 calendar days to get representation or to at least try to do some scheduling to schedule someone to come in to represent them. They were not allowed that at all.
HISD confirmed the layoffs and says the loss of federal COVID funding has hurt the district financially and, quote, in order to meet our students' needs, HISD must right-size our central office and find ways to operate more efficiently, end quote.
What did I tell y'all was going to happen last week? When all of this free pandemic money ran out and they start tamping back down because the federal budget calls for them to spend money over and send money over to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and trying to ban TikTok. What did I tell y'all was going to happen last week en masse across all of these school districts that y'all think that y'all safe in where y'all got these jobs? No, and then they say, oh, listen, we want to keep the teachers. Okay, that's cool. We're going to get rid of the janitors. We're going to get rid of the people that do the food. We're going to get rid of the administrators. We're going to operate in a skeleton crew. We're going to do the bare minimum now that we ran out of all of this COVID money. And it's going to be mass layoffs, not just with teachers, but people that service the buildings, administration, all of that stuff. We're going to run a bare bones crew. It's going to be a bare bones crew up in these school buildings and the independent society of teachers or whatever. We don't care if you got a union. That's cool. That's cute. Go ahead and file a grievance. We getting rid of everybody. Payday was yesterday. End of the school year, you gone. Houston is broke. They ain't got no more money. The mayor said, we broke. We's broke. We ain't got $1 to spare. We not giving no more money over into the people. We don't have no more COVID's money. We's broke. He said we got to do something. The water department is stealing money. Previous mayors and administration, they was putting their homeboys on. Enrique Iglesias, you going to have to go, big dog. No more free money, no more hanging out, no more bad jobs. Y'all gonna have to go and pick some juices and berries out in the field.
But Miralles says the district needs to look to make cuts elsewhere.
Listen to the lowest employees, because they're the backbone of the school district. They're the ones that maintain it. They're the ones that keep it clean. They're the ones that repair it when repairs need to be done.
Everybody going to school online.
Now, Miralles says the hurricane season is quickly approaching, and HISD will not be prepared without these labor employees. I'm live outside the HISD headquarters. Jonathan Mejia, Fox 26 News.
We gonna find out. We got one thing for sure and two things for certain. Y'all not gonna be here next year, and so you better go and find another job. Meanwhile, Tesla is still laying off, and this time they're targeting mass layoffs, exceptionally mass layoffs over in the Bay Area and California. The Bay Area and California, and over in Texas, they're trying to change the laws that give more worker protections to prevent these mass layoffs that's been happening over in Detroit, Chicago, Canada, New York, all across the country. This has been happening for a long time. Every time that there's a new contract, they need to raise rates, they need to raise prices. You know what happens? They start laying off people.
Well, Tesla plans to lay off nearly 3,000 of its employees right here in the Bay Area. Documents filed by the company shows workers in Palo Alto and Fremont will be among the mass layoffs. Those layoffs are set to begin on June 14th. And joining me now is global strategist Dr. Olaf Groth with UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business. So thank you very much for joining us. Tesla has been struggling lately. Its first quarter profit plunged 55%. So what does this all mean for the company? What does this mean for California?
Yeah, good to be with you. This is a perfect storm for Tesla at the moment. The 2,700 employees, of course, hurt California, but in the larger scheme of things, 47,000 employees here in the state, it's probably not dramatic, but it will probably get more dramatic. Tesla is, like I said, in a perfect storm due to a few different things. One is sluggish demand because of high interest rates here in the United States, as well as a slow infrastructure build out. Then increasing price pressure, primarily due to competition from other brands here in the United States, as well as China. BYD, very prominent Chinese manufacturer, one of the biggest ones in the world for electric vehicles. And then supply chain issues due to geopolitics around the world aren't making things easier. What's looming then is also geopolitics, as well as repair costs for the Cybertruck, also expensive new development costs for the cheaper vehicle, robo-taxis, humanoid robots. There's a lot of heavy-duty expenditures coming up here for Tesla. My hunch is we're going to see more layoffs in the future, but overall, the company is well-positioned to come out the other end.
One of the things that they're saying, how the Tesla robot has been being rolled out and stuff like that? There's been a lot of testing, and I've been seeing a lot of videos, and maybe I'll show you guys that a little later on or later on in the week. But one of the reasons why Elon Musk, they said that he's developing a Tesla bot is to make sure that he replaces workers. Let me say that again. The Tesla robot is not so you can have a companion at home. They're saying that the Tesla bot is ultimately for you to be replaced on the lines that you then service when it comes to manufacturing facilities. They're no longer just doing robot and trying to replace you with robot arms or robotics or whatever. They're actually trying to have a replication of what you look like without getting tired, and to recharge the robot up electronically so that they can then manufacture, and the only people that have to service the robots is the maintenance crew and the software engineers. That's what the word on the street is. When I was talking to a friend of a friend that knows somebody that knows somebody, they are saying that they are speeding up development of the Tesla robot to ultimately replace workers on the floor entirely. So while they are racing to try to unionize in the South, Tesla has I don't want to talk about this too much. And one of the reasons that I don't want to talk about this too much is because I actually did not plan on including this as a part of this conversation here on the Millionaire Morning Show today, because this is a part of the conversation that I want to include in order to evaluate whether or not this time in which Tesla's profit margins has dropped significantly, if it is an investment opportunity, because Tesla actually considers themselves to be more than a manufacturing company. They are a technology company. So when we go over Stock Club, if y'all not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. One of the things that we do is that we include the future plans, and we also go over the 8 things that we look for when we're looking to invest in a company. There is so much information that I need to share with you guys, and it's just overwhelming. So Stock Club is going to be something special this upcoming Wednesday, because we're going to talk about it extensively about what the long-term plans are of these technology companies, how they plan to make money from it, because they don't plan to just make money from the replacement of workers by saving money on having to pay health care and pensions and obligations, 401k and wages, and then also preventing them from being able to unionize, but they plan on making some money a lot of other ways. And I want to share this information with you guys. If you guys are not a part of the Patreon, then please miss me with all of the Anton, can you give me the game? How is it that you invest? What is the long-term strategy? There's a lot of other things that we need to go over. We're going to revisit the conversation from technology from when we talked about it earlier in the year in January. For those of you that are a part of the Patreon and are part of Stock Club, make sure you go and watch Stock Club in the previous versions so that we can leapfrog off of that and have this conversation in whole. So I'm going to save this. All right. I'm not going to talk about this part. Let's move over to worker protections and what they're trying to do over in Texas. Let's take a look.
Well, anytime where we have layoffs, it's going to have an impact on our community.
This week, Tesla told the Texas Workforce Commission it plans to lay off 2,688 employees from its Austin facility starting in June. That's more than 2,600 people District 2 Councilwoman Vanessa Fuentes says are now scrambling to figure out their next steps.
This is going to have a direct impact in their livelihood, how they're able to make ends meet for the families that they are supporting.
The Stock Club is Wednesday morning for Patreon members. Again, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
News comes on the heels of the company announcing income was down 55% during the first quarter of this year. There was also a 9% drop in vehicle sales year over year. Fuentes says the news surrounding these layoffs sheds light on a larger issue within the workplace.
I think it really just draws attention to the need for us to have strong workplace standards and protections in place.
I've been doing this for 30 years.
Dan Ross is a principal lawyer at Ross Scalise Law Group, a labor employment firm in Austin.
We look at the reason that the actual employee is laid off.
He says in situations involving mass layoffs, severance packages are typically issued. When that happens, the Austin-based attorney says if possible, you should see a lawyer.
To see if they have the ability to, for example, negotiate their severance package to see if it can become more reasonable.
Ross adds there can be downsides to signing a severance agreement, including being potentially sued by the company.
You just need to be careful in a severance agreement because it's very tempting to take the money and sign whatever they put in front of you.
Whatever severance packages are being offered by Tesla, Councilwoman Fuentes hopes they're at least good enough to make ends meet.
That they provided sufficient notice, that they provided pay and benefits for a sufficient amount of time to allow those individuals to seek employment elsewhere.
Listen, you can forget it. They not there to make you comfortable. They not there to make you feel good. They there to make money. The company is there to make money, and you are prohibiting them from making money because now that they have a slowdown and people can't necessarily buy cars, they don't need you to manufacture them, and you don't just get paid just for nothing. That's usually what happens when there's a slowdown or when there's actually a problem in the economy in which we're not really adding as many jobs as the federal government say that we are. So again, Stock Club is going to be this upcoming Wednesday morning, and we're going to have that conversation, and I'm going to post that inside of the Patreon, the actual link to Stock Club, because we're going to deep dive into that. And I think that it's a lot of money to be made now that the price of the stock or the price of the brick is a little bit lower than I think it should be. But we'll deep dive into that later. It's a little bit risky, but we're going to get into it when we want to talk about the details of that. Let me go ahead and read a couple of super chats. And then we're going to get over into the final part of the show. Man, it seemed like time be going by fast, don't it? A couple of super chats, and then we're going to get to it. Ken J says, dude was busting off and people food at the restaurant culture in Houston, and they found out he was a pedo. Who? Send me the story. Y'all got to email me this stuff. Email me, and then we're going to talk about it, all right? Shout out to you. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, Tesla stock is up big today. I know. We're going to talk about it. Jeremy H says, as a ref, as a soccer ref, side gig, even if it's canceled, youth leagues make money because they recruit for the pros and field access is hard. I guarantee a state lawmaker got a call. Always come back down to the money, huh? All right, y'all, let's talk about this last thing. In the idea of talking about Tesla and these technology companies that's been laying off and stuff like that, right? Here's my question for y'all. And I seen this pop up on CNBC, so let me give them some credit. Here's my question for the people that love big tech, that is a part of big tech, and that always wanted to work in big tech, right? You wanted to work at Microsoft, you wanted to work at Apple, you wanted to work at Tesla, you wanted to work at Amazon, you wanted to work at Google. Here's my question for y'all as we go into the final part of the show on a Monday morning. Is it still a dream job? Now, don't answer right away because I know that y'all like to get emotional and you like to feel a certain type of way about it. Is working at a big technology company, and matter of fact, let me revise that question. What is the dream position? For me, it was always working in technology. That was my dream position. My dream job was to become a software engineer and then be able to get my laundry done because I heard that Meta / Facebook at the time, it was called Facebook at the time, it wasn't on Meta, but I heard that Facebook at the time was over there doing people's laundry, and that was one of the perks of working for the company. I said, wait a minute, they do your laundry, you can slide down a giant slide, they give you free food, you chilling, you get all of these perks, and they're going to pay you all of this crazy money? Oh, man, I got to make sure that I work in this technology field. I was smitten. I was smitten because I came from Detroit, where the main goal and the main thing as a person that grew up in Detroit was you just wanted to get in the plant. So the dream job growing up actually evolved. The dream job going up was just to get in the plant for us here in Detroit. Because if you got in the plant, you was going to be making like $32 an hour plus overtime, which means that you had the potential to make $100,000 a year. Now, growing up in the 90s, man, listen, you making six figures and you from Detroit, you rich. You rich. Look, we used to see all of the old timers when I first got into the plant. All of them had multiple chicks. All of them had multiple families. I ain't even going to cap. All of them had multiple families. That's a fact, though. Anton, I don't believe you. Okay, you ain't got to believe me, but I'm telling you the real. All of the old timers in the plant, they had Lincolns, they had Cadillacs, they had the big cars. I remember I seen an old school. He pulled up. What was it? It wasn't an ELR. It was the drop top. When that drop top 2-seater Cadillac had first came out, I said, old school, let me see your check stub. And he told me that check stub. I said, what the I almost cussed. To get you a job in the plant, not having to even go to school, go out of college. And a lot of them, they had benefits that they wasn't even using. You had tuition assistance and all of this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? They'll pay for you to go to school. And I was like, man, if we could just get in the plant, when I graduate out of high school, my big bro Dre, he showed me that check stub. I said, I had never seen a check stub that big in my entire life from a regular job. I had never seen a check stub with somebody that showed me that amount of money that was working a regular job in my entire life. The XLR, I believe. Yep. Shout out to the XLR. My man was sitting there with his drop top XLR, and I was riding on the bus. I said, ooh, because, not riding on the bus to get to work, but I was riding on the bus to get to the park in the job park that made it where I was actually doing my job at. I said, ooh, wee. Old school got the XLR. And all of them had a whole nother family. They had at least one or two other families that big mama over there never even knew about. Big mama didn't have no, but then the dream changed and the dream evolved when I started seeing what they was doing over in Silicon Valley. And I said, man, I got to get over to Facebook. I don't want to be on Facebook. I want to work at Facebook. And now the dream has evolved even more. But here's the question. Has the dream job now gotten so far away from us, and why? Is it because of Instagram culture? Is it because social media? Is it because everybody is scamming? Is it because everybody is a boss chick? Is it because tech companies are just not what they used to be? Let's see what CNBC got to say.
Remember the golden age of working for the tech industry?
Fortune is unveiling its top 100 best companies to work for. Google's #1 again this year. It was #1 last year and the year before. And Google has everything, free food everywhere, a Wi-Fi enabled free shuttle. They have horseshoe pits, volleyball courts, street hockey, pools.
Netflix is letting new parents take as much time off as they need during the first year of their child's birth or adoption.
Salesforce has mindfulness areas designed with help from monks. Airbnb gives employees a $2,000 travel stipend. Music discovery platform Pandora even pays for its workers to have gender affirmation surgery.
Let's pause here.
They pay for their employees to have gender affirmation surgery. Now, why would companies offer such perks? Because they're trying to get a leg up on one another at the time in order to recruit the best workers. In order to recruit the best workers just wasn't looking for money. They was looking for equity. They was looking for the perks of the job. They was looking to be pampered. And so they were the rock stars. Tech employees were the rock stars of the 2000s and the 90s. 90s, 2000s, tech employees, as far as within my circle, was the real rock stars. If you got into a field and you was working at Microsoft, Amazon, Google, all of those stuff, you were the man. The man. Absolutely you were.
Here. It's not only big names like Google, Apple, and Amazon that enticed workers with these perks. Smaller tech startups were also offering workers outlandish extras. Everything from performance-based prizes to an endless supply of company-branded swag.
Top performers every month for the New York office get an actual custom oil canvas painting.
So if you pop it, actually reveals a secret room. We have meetings in here, do poker, and maybe even close a deal, have a shot of whiskey or something.
Here is a must-come spot for anybody who comes to New Relic. It's where we have all our swag, all our New Relic pride. And the great thing is you can just come and grab whatever you want.
Well, that was the 2010s. This is how tech companies are grabbing headlines these days.
The layoffs in technology just keep coming. The latest, Google cutting hundreds of jobs in its engineering, product, and hardware divisions.
So this is the latest round of layoffs we are hearing about in tech today. It's two fintech companies, Block and PayPal.
Microsoft cutting almost 2,000 jobs at Activision Blizzard and Xbox as the tech landscape resets.
Layoffs in the tech industry surged in 2023, sparked by high interest rates and a pivot to generative AI. The pace of layoffs in the tech industry has persisted well into 2024. Workers who were laid off now see this industry in a different way.
When you work for a big tech company, you had this assurance that you were going to be okay, that you were part of this greater thing, that you were part of this culture that really meant something, that you were making a difference. And at any moment, snap, you could be axed.
And here's the thing that y'all got to realize is that there's always going to be an evolution of what that dream position or dream situation can be, but it can be gone in the snap of a finger because nothing is guaranteed and nothing will be exactly what you thought it was forever. Nothing is guaranteed and nothing and no one will be what you thought it was forever, meaning that you have to always be thinking long term. You have to be thinking long term and be making moves and pivoting and putting yourself in a position to never be interdependent on whatever it is that you went in at that particular time.
Before 2020, people were interested in the tech industry just because, the high pay, prestige, I think just seeing it as different, right? You have all these traditional companies, and then you have all these companies that are just doing things different. And they look like kind of the future of work. People thought it was going to be like a huge shift towards these fun environments and flexible environments and places where they put employees first. Now that's sort of shifted, and you think, well, these aren't too much different than these older traditional companies that people were already working at in the early 2000s.
The tech industry as a whole has completely lost its luster because people are starting to recognize that the tech industry is just like any other industry. It was up one day and now it's down. When you consider what's going on at companies like Google, you consider what's going on at companies like Amazon. The moment they started to announce layoffs, people started to recognize that these companies, these tech giants, are just like every other company. They're hire you today and they get rid of you tomorrow.
The tech industry completely dominated the news headlines in the 2010s. After the 2008 financial crisis, the U.S. Federal Reserve brought interest rates to near zero and kept them there for years. That allowed tech companies and startups to borrow money at rock-bottom prices and opened the floodgates for venture capital money too. Boosted by ultra-low interest rates and a ready supply of venture capital money and skyrocketing adoption of smartphones and social media, tech companies took over the stock market as well. Working at one of these tech companies became a way to get rich. Employees often got a good portion of their compensation paid out in stock options. As tech stocks rose, workers got richer and richer. The tech-heavy NASDAQ, for example, rose about 347% from January 2010 to December 2019. Netflix was the biggest gainer among the FANG stocks, surging more than 4,000%.
I think for a long time, working for a major tech company like Google or Meta, or Microsoft, was really seen as a badge of honor because these were companies that were growing tremendously. And through most of the lifetime, for many of our current students right now and our recent graduates, all they saw their entire childhood was growth. They saw these companies get larger, they saw them innovate, they saw new products that really transformed their day-to-day life. So to be able to work in those companies was seen as prestigious, and it was seen as a very positive step in building their own careers to be able to contribute to the technology that they themselves and their families used every single day.
People definitely look at you differently when you have Microsoft or a larger tech company on your resume. People have called it the easy door into your next job or whatever. I don't know if it's that far, but definitely especially if you're going to a place that is built on Azure and you have Microsoft experience, that seems like a no-brainer. Or if you have going to somewhere that's a Google-based company and you have Google on your resume or Amazon, I think it probably puts you towards the front of the line.
A lot of people want to get that on their resume, and I hear that all the time. I even hear from people that say, hey man, I'm willing to take less money in order to go and work at one of these big tech companies so that I can get it on my resume because I believe that I'm going to take one step backwards and 3 steps forward. I remember I got recruited, and I tell this story often, and I've been telling this story probably for about 4 or 5 years. And if you've heard this one, just bear with me. We got to get the new people up to speed. And I got an offer to either take a job working at a bank or to build an IT infrastructure in a bank from scratch, or to go out to Mountain View, California, because I had passed 2 online interviews, and then I did an interview up in Ann Arbor at the Google campus in Ann Arbor, and then they let me fly out there, and I went out there and I met with people in person, and they let me go and research and go around and stuff like that. And I was telling Rita, I said, yo, when I actually started doing the math of what it would take for me to upend my family and uproot my family and then bring them out here, and then the cost of living out here. And then I'm also looking at what my long-term trajectory was because I was doing well with my businesses, and then what the cost of living out there in California was versus taking a traditional legacy company and then transforming it into a company that's going to operate long-term from a technological perspective. It didn't make sense. When I started weighing the options and weighing out what the possibilities were and what my upward mobility was, and then the cost of living, and then the salary, because I would actually be taking less money, and then when you factor in the cost of living to go out there and work there, it didn't make sense. I made the decision, and then obviously family came into the equation also, but I made the decision to just stay in Michigan and rock out. And I personally believe that it worked out for me, and it was the best decision that I could ever make. Because I wouldn't have been as further along. Now, I never would know that, right? Because you can't go back and you can't say, well, I was able to do this thing and I was able to do this thing, and this is how it worked out for both of them. You never can do that. So you got to make the most informed decision possible. But my point is that it's not always best to just go for the name. Sometimes, depending on what your long-term goals are, and this is why I tell the bag chasers to have 3 tiers. The first tier is what you need in order to make sure that you feed yourself today. The second tier is what is it going to look like in 5 years, and what are you doing today that may be profitable, may not be profitable, but ultimately it's the thing that's going to translate into making the most sense possible. So for example, let's say you are working your regular job, but then at the same time you're trying to transition into cybersecurity, or you're trying to transition into a career that would ultimately get you a great job and allow for you to build on government contracts. That's the job that you need in order to sustain your lifestyle and do what you have to do today, versus also working that thing that's going to translate into something that's going to be phenomenal tomorrow. Or you could be working on your business, right? When you get off of work, then you work on your business, or you're working on your business during the time that you at work, that you got some free time to do so. And then you got the tier 3. The tier 3 is the thing that you're going to do for your long term, right? When I first got into content creation, I said I was going to do it consistently for 10 years, and then I would revisit it to determine whether or not it actually made sense for me to go down, to continue down that path. When I'm doing real estate, everything that we do from a real estate perspective is not to make money and passive residual income, but it's to basically plot and plan for what our future is going to look like 10 years from now. The amount of doors that we have versus the amount of doors that we can leverage that into, and then making sure that we don't have any debt would then substantiate what we want our lifestyle to look like 10, 12, 15 years from now. So it's 3 tiers that we operate on that basically allow for us to maintain what it is that we're doing today and feel sufficient as a result of it. What is it that we're going to do tomorrow that's going to feed into that 10-year, that tier 3 level of thinking that then allows for us to be successful? When I look at these companies, listen, they're phenomenal to work at. You make a lot of money, but see, I realized after the 2007, 2008 housing crisis, the recession, a real recession, not that pandemic nonsense where they allow for y'all to have a rent moratorium, a real recession. I realized at that point, nothing is forever. Nothing is forever. I said, I'm going to get as many bags as I can get. I'm going to invest as much money as I can. And I'm going to always be paying attention to what it is that I'm putting myself to into the future. Yeah, you can go out and I can go and buy my dream cars today. I can buy every single dream car that I want to today. But I would rather get the car that I want and then I get a dream car here and then get a dream car there as a milestone event instead of buying them all today, because I can only drive one at a time, and it's going to take away from what I am investing in to make sure that my future for my entire family is going to be secure forever. Most people live hand to mouth, and then once they have one disaster, that's who you see as the person that's doing van life. Hand to mouth, robbing Peter to pay Paul, doing a balance transfer. You purchasing it with a credit card, not necessarily because you got the money, but because you know you're going to pay it back as soon as you get it paid. And you, one situation, one paycheck, one garnishment, one medical bill, one emergency away from losing everything. And it's partially because we have self-inflicted wounds and we want to maintain a lifestyle and we trying to put on a presentation for people and we think that the world cares about us, and that's not what it is. Tech companies today, or of the 2010s, have now become a recycling of the same stuff that we had in yesteryear. Now, it's, oh man, I want to go back. I want to go into UPS. The same thing that y'all was chasing in the 90s and the 2000s is the same thing that y'all chasing today. It's all cyclical. Oh my God, the UAW just got a huge raise. We want to go work for them. We want to go work for the auto companies. They unionizing. Oh my Jesus, you know what I'm saying? The UPS drivers is now making $200,000 a year. When that had went out of style, then the tech companies became the place to work at because, oh man, they getting all the perks and they getting equity into the company. And then it became, oh man, I want to make sure that I become a boss. I'm going to own my own company, and you doing it for the wrong reasons. And everything is going to be cyclical, and you always going to be chasing your tail because you don't have the right mindset to what wealth, money, and how to generate wealth and money looks like. And so the reason that we work jobs is not so we can have a title or feel good about ourselves. The reason that we have a job is so that we can then fund the things that's going to make sure that we're taken care of for the rest of our lives. And that also comes with a level of discipline to remove yourself from having to keep up with people. And it doesn't matter what they think. The only thing that matters is what's going to benefit you. And you got to have the right mindset. And if you don't have the right mindset, you're always going to be chasing your tail because it's always going to be ups and downs. It's ups and downs in real estate. People make money and then they go broke. Remember when everybody was doing trucking? Remember during the pandemic when everybody was like, oh, man, you got to go and get you a box truck. Oh, man, you got to go get your CDL. Yeah, we getting to the bag and we doing big things. Ain't nobody talking about trucking all of a sudden. Ain't nobody got to go and get their big box. Everybody trying to get out of it. Now I was coaching people and I said, hey, man, you might want to get a plan in place and start transitioning right now because that money ain't going to last. And all of these people trying to become owner-operators, they're going to be selling them trucks real fast and them rates. I told people. I warned them. I've been saying it. I've been talking about it. I did multiple different articles on all of these people. And I said, listen, I know you think it's hot right now, but I'm trying to help you to understand. The thing that we have to do is that you have to learn to enjoy your life and be happy with where you are. And because the more stuff you buy, that's not going to fix it. That's not going to make you a happier person. Happiness is from within. And then the stuff just make it that much more exceptional because you become more appreciative and you actually love your life. But you loved it before you start getting the stuff, so you don't need the stuff in order to make you feel better. But true happiness is knowing that you own your purpose, and then the money comes with it. Forget the tech companies, forget the auto industry, forget UPS, forget your little new minimum wage out there in California. That don't mean nothing, bro. It don't mean nothing. You got a short window to maximize every single opportunity that you get. And what you do with it is then going to determine whether or not you're going to be ruler over much. You got to be faithful over little before you rule over much. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So listen, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. I believe that y'all are the greatest audience on the face of this earth. I would like nothing more than to continue to have a conversation with y'all for the rest of my life. It may be a little bit different, but I definitely want to continue to have a conversation with y'all because I just want to keep adding value into y'all life. And I want y'all to always be focused on doing the right things and running that bag up. You know what I'm saying? Let me read a couple more super chats before we get up out of here, or super chat before we get up out of here. And then I'm going to let y'all go because, you know, we got the full week. Remember, we got Stock Club this weekend. I mean, not this weekend. On Wednesday morning. Stock Club Wednesday morning. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Make sure y'all get that Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus 20% off for life, and you get free gifts on top of it. We got the Q show tonight. That's going to be popping, and I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me get the people and get their recognition. Shout out to Sister. Mr. AB, wonderful show as usual. So many gems. I'm so looking forward to Stock Club, and we going to have a good time. See, they never taught y'all how to have fun when y'all was learning about things that actually benefit you. They ain't teach y'all that part in school, sis, but I got you. I got you. Somebody gonna tell me that learning about finances and talking about money was boring. You could have fooled me. Jay Johnson says, ha ha, ain't gonna lie. That's why I'm the trucker. I'm a trucker. That Monday. Shout out to Jay Johnson. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down, my friend. Again, make sure y'all tuning in tonight, because we got the Q show. I have no idea what she going to want to talk about, but we definitely have fun. Y'all have fun? It's Monday, y'all. It's Monday. Yeah, it's Monday. Monday is the day that everybody's starting to get their bearings, but we already been running, so we ain't got to get ready because we been ready. We been ready, all right? I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are absolutely, positively awesome. Greatest audience on the face of this earth, all right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Why y'all say we're true to myself? Y'all so petty. Y'all are so petty. I can't believe that y'all are this petty. Y'all this petty? Oh my God. Y'all are a mess. I can't with y'all. So what? So he was only going to show up when he had a wrench? Is that what y'all saying? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the worst audience in the world. I take that back. Y'all ain't the best. Y'all the worst audience in the world. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm getting out of here. Shout out to Mika. Peace.